Yo everyone, thanks for joining me once again for Larry's full card betting guide. This weekend we do have UFC 322, Della Maddalena versus Makhachev to look forward to, and we have some crazy bets this week, so please stay tuned to see what I ended up crafting by the end of the video, guys. If you do like these videos, by the way, please leave a like to support the channel and subscribe if you aren't already. I just thought I would say that. Before we do get into this whole breakdown of the card and all my bets on this card, I'll quickly give a recap for the results of last week's card right now for anyone who is curious. But before I even do that, just before I even get into that, I do want to talk about a few updates to the channel this week. I've spoken about it a little bit already, but I'll go into it here in this video. I finally opened a Discord for the channel recently since a lot of people were asking about it, and I'm glad to see people are actually joining already and are starting to use a few of the channels, which is great to see. It's completely free to join, guys, and I've made it a place just for people to come chat with me or others in my community, so I would love to see more people join. Lastly, before we break down last week's results, I do want to say that I've been streaming Fight Companions every single week for a while now, so if you don't know, I have been streaming pretty much every week. But it will be the first time in a while that I might not stream for a card, guys. And I know this card is very big. I'm super excited for it, but I might not stream because I do want to spend it with my friends and family and watch it with them this time around. If something does pop up, I might do like a surprise main event stream or a main card stream, but if not, I will post my thoughts on the card in the Discord and or like my community post section of my channel. Now, as for my results for last week's card, we went 7-5 on picks for UFC Fight Night Bonfim versus Brown, which isn't the greatest, guys, I do know that, but I actually was looking good for a while there. I was 6-1 going into the main card, and then I did proceed to only get the co-main event pick of Joseph Morales correct after that, which does suck. I did get 2 out of 3 of my confident picks for the card correct, which is good to see. You guys can see that on the left side of your screen. There were Josh Hockett, Ricky Simone, and Joseph Morales. Anyways, now to move on to how we did on bets. Here on screen, all the bets I had on the card. And I will now highlight in green all the bets that are cashed and in red all the bets that did not hit. And in the end, we did end up down like under a unit and a half somewhat, which isn't terrible, but it isn't good since it's a losing week, guys. I don't like losing, of course. I did go really hard on Randy Brown and Muslim Salikov that time. I need to cop that loss on the chin, guys. Hoping we can pull through this week, though, with a big win, going heavy on a few fighters again this week. The last thing I do want to mention before we get into the video now is the fact that there is another short notice fight, guys, that I haven't actually given a prediction for yet. So to let you guys know, Cody Haddon is now out of his fight with Malcolm Wellmaker, but they did find Ethyn Ewing to step in on short notice, and Ewing is a guy who's currently on an 8-fight win streak, I believe, 7 KOs in his last 8 wins, 3 in the first round, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third, I believe. And I will quickly give my prediction for this brand new fight now. And if you guys do want to skip this, of course, or if you even have skipped any of them, like any of my previous explanations, there are chapters on this video, of course. You would have seen it already. But honestly, it's not going to take long regardless. Just like the last short notice pick, this one still feels like I'm going to go with the same guy. I'm going to go with Malcolm Wellmaker to win this fight. I do think he wins it by KO inside the first 2 rounds, most likely. But I do want to mention that I think that Ethyn Ewing, for one, deserves a lot of credit. Like, for taking this fight on short notice, he deserves a lot of respect from everyone. The second thing is that I don't think Ewing is necessarily just like some bum they brought in to fight Malcolm Wellmaker. The dude is pretty solid in my opinion. He's not like the best, but I think he's quite decent. His footwork's good. His boxing's decent. He's got good forward pressure. He's very, very powerful. That's something I do want to mention. And I do expect him to be the one trying to back up Malcolm Wellmaker a ton in this matchup. That's what I do expect. He is also coming off a first round KO only 6 days ago, so he hasn't taken much damage coming into this fight. I think he'll look pretty decent, pretty fresh. But regardless of all these nice things that I am saying, I do think Malcolm Wellmaker is going to catch this guy on the back foot, in my opinion. Although Ewing is decent, like I did mention, he has a lot of holes defensively, and I do think he is going to get caught when he's closing the distance. He just gets tagged way too much for me, and he does end up rolling with shots and blocking shots with his rear hand a good amount of the time, but against Wellmaker, I don't think he can let through as many shots as I've already seen in some other fights. I think he'll get knocked out here. I do think on the feet, overall, this fight is dangerous for both guys because Ewing is not he's not that bad, guys. He's very powerful too. I think there could be potential for a massive KO upset here, but I just didn't think it happens a good amount of the time to like warrant me picking him as an underdog, guys. I still think Malcolm gets it done here. That's my official pick, guys. Malcolm Wellmaker by KO inside the first 2 rounds. So now we can finally jump into the betting guide. Timestamps are in the description and the comment section below if you guys want to skip to anything in particular. You've already seen the chapters, guys. I'm sure you already know if you do want to skip to anything. So without further ado, let's jump into the video, guys. What you're looking at here are the lists of favorites and underdogs for the entire card. And like I always say, this is just to show you guys who I actually ended up picking to win on this card and how many of those picks were underdogs and favorites. If you want to know how I got to picking these fighters specifically, go check out my predictions and breakdown video, guys. It goes pretty in-depth on my thought process on each and every fight pick on this card. And if you have come from that video, like I always say, I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel by watching both the videos. It means a lot to me. I will now highlight in green who my picks were for this card. And as you can see, I picked out a few underdogs on this card, including the main event underdog in JDM, guys. And I do also want to say that when I did pick Valentina Shevchenko originally, I picked her in my early predictions video. She was an underdog in there, so I did place her in the underdog section, but she is a favorite right now, so I did highlight that there because the odds have flipped. Let's now move on to the strong favorites of the card, and as you can see here for the strong favorites section, I've picked Baisanga Sursakayev, Fatima Klein, Carl Dorcas, and Malcolm Wellmaker as my strong favorites on this card. I also feel quite good about Bo Nickel, by the way, guys, and Carlos Prates, but I picked these 4 in particular on the screen that you guys do see, just because I feel most confident in them specifically. The numbers next to the fighters' names are just a return on them that you'll get on them if you were to bet on them. So for example, if you were to bet $100 on Carl Dorcas to win, it would net you a profit of $22 overall. And for my American viewers, as far as I know, when he has the minus 455 next to his name, that's how much money you have to bet on the fighter to win $100 profit back on your bet. Let's now jump into the solid underdogs I've chosen for this card, guys, and I've personally chosen Chepe Mariscal, Tracy Cortez, Michael Morales, and Jack Della Maddalena as my picks for solid underdogs on this card. And I will say that I would have replaced Tracy with Valentina in my opinion, but even though I picked her as an underdog initially, and I have her as an underdog, I didn't want to highlight her here because she's no longer an underdog, guys, and I don't want to share her as an underdog with other people if she's no longer an underdog now. If you guys do want to know more in general, though, about these picks and my reasoning for picking these guys as an underdog, like I said earlier, go check out my full card predictions and breakdown video for every single fight on this card. It'll be linked somewhere here, guys, for you to check it out. Now that we're onto the locks of the card section, though, this week I have ended up choosing Baisanga Sursakayev as my favorite lock of the card, and I really do feel most confident about him in particular. He really is better than Eric McConaughey. Oh, my voice is completely gone, by the way, guys. I'm starting to get a bit more sick if no one's noticed, but I'm just losing my voice. I'm going to keep going anyway. I'm not going to edit this out. I do feel that he is better than Eric McConaughey in every single way. I would be surprised if he didn't walk away from this one with another finish under his belt, and that is why I am picking him by KO in this fight. Let's now move on to the underdog lock of the card, guys, and as you know, I've chosen a few underdogs in this card, but I did decide to pick Jack Della Maddalena as my underdog lock of the card, and I just couldn't help myself. I'm not going to lie. He's too big of an underdog in this fight, and people need to respect him big time here. The dude has improved so much, and I really do feel if he even looks half decent in those first couple of rounds and doesn't get submitted by Islam, I really think he gets a late rounds TKO in this fight here. Moving on now to the high risk, high reward section of the video, and this section is where I highlight one fighter on the card that I think has completely juiced odds relative to their chances of winning. It could be a fighter I haven't even necessarily picked to win on my predictions video, but it's someone that I think will have a better chance to succeed than the odds makers do say. And last week, I did highlight Chris Duncan in this spot, guys, and he was able to win and get a KO over Marco Tulio, which was pretty crazy to see. This week, I have ended up choosing Vyacheslav Borshev, and he's been tested way more than someone like Camilo, guys. And even though I do think Camilo can do well in this fight with his grappling, and I have picked him actually to win this fight, Borshev really could prove to be a tough test for Camilo here. For the first high-risk bet, I did start off with the moneyline bet on Borshev. I just think even though he's a moderate underdog, I think there's solid value on his moneyline flat out there in general. For a very high risk bet though, I did put him to win by decision, and that's the main way I see him winning this one, since I think he could potentially look decent on the feet here and out damage and out volume Camilo in this fight. For an insane bet though, I actually have Borshev by KO in round 1, and this one's of course a bit out there, guys, but I do think if they start getting scrappy early, you never know what can happen. But I will say this bet isn't one I would go for personally. For a bet I would go for, and a safe-ish bet for the card, You guys know it already. It's the plus 3.5 rounds bet, and that's my go-to for safer bets in general, guys. And it will pay as long as it's not a domination or a finish in this fight. That's it for that section. Let's now move on to the personal bets I have on this card. And there are many different types of bets here, as you can see, so I'll run you through all of them now. The bet in white is the subscribers bet of the week, and I will reveal who I picked right now for you guys. I did end up choosing this person here as my subscribers bet of the week, and thanks again to Delta for putting their comment in the new Discord, by the way, guys, and thank you to the others who posted their bets this week in the Discord or in the YouTube channel comments. And if I didn't choose you this time around, I still want to say I do appreciate your time putting a comment in the comment section. If you guys do like seeing the subscribers bets of the week every week and want to be added to the guide yourself, leave your comments in the comment section of my next prediction and breakdown video for your chance to be featured in next week's betting guide. That bet has now been added to the guide officially. Oh, my voice is so gone. And now I'll start reading out all the other bets I made as well. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, like when I look at these bets here, this is a lot of units I've put on this card. The first bet I've got here is the subscribers bet of the week, which was Sean Brady and Michael Morales to not go the distance, Weili Zhang plus 5.5 rounds, and JDM and Islam to not go the distance, all in a parlay. Next up, I have Carlos Pratis by KO, and I really do think this happens in this fight, maybe towards the second and third round if I had to say like for something in particular, but he's just super dangerous, and I'm not too sure that I could see Leon avoiding every kill shot that comes his way in this fight. I also have Kyle Dorcas by KO submission because I don't see this one going to the scorecards at all, and I feel quite confident that he does win this fight. Benoit Saint-Denis is a little less of a confident pick though, but I still do have him in one of my bets here. And I do think there's a good chance that he gets a KO here or hurts Beneil and finishes him some way, especially early on in this fight. Next up, I have a parlay with Kyle Dorcas and Gregory Rodriguez, and I think this one cashes a good amount of the time, guys, in my opinion. Next, we have a WMMA parlay that I've got here with both of these fights to go the distance, which feels pretty solid to me in general. I feel like you can go with WMMA fights to go the distance a lot of the time. My next bet is a parlay with Bo Nickel, Benoit Saint-Denis, and Carlos Pratis, and this one's a little bit of a riskier one with 3 people instead of like 2, which is something that I usually do, but I do feel it's a solid one for the odds that I've got them at. Lastly, I have my confident picks for the card as a parlay and my main card picks for the card as a parlay as well. For all my single fighter bets though, I do have Jack Della Maddalena, Shepe Mariscal, Valentina Shevchenko, Michael Morales, and Tracy Cortez, and I've placed a bet on each of their money lines, guys, here since I think the odds were decent at the time for all of them. And as you can see as well, after reading out like all these bets, you can see that I've got a good chunk riding on a few fighters here, especially with JDM. Like if JDM wins, it would be the most important fight for me regardless of bets in general, but for bets it would be really, really good. That's it for the bets though, guys, and good luck to everyone watching this video with your bets for the card. If you like these videos, please leave a like, and please let me know in the comments what you think of these videos, guys. I would appreciate some feedback. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and see you guys next time.